Ladies and gentlemen, we are back here with episode 5 of the Dual Threat podcast. I'm here with my co-host, Guru Griff. Griff, how's it going, my man?
What's going on, Caden? Our second time doing this, not face-to-face, you know what I mean? But hey, we're rolling through it. It's the holiday season. Great football weekend. It was magical.
It was magical. It was magical. And to your point, I don't get to see your pretty face up in person, but guess what? We got Christmas this week. We've got New Year's coming up. We will be together very shortly for some more banger in-person podcasts. But Griff, week 16 absolutely delivered. Week 15, it was kind of like a somber feeling that I left with. A lot of injuries, Parsons, Mahomes. It was kind of a bummer of a week, but this week was maybe the best of the entire year.
It was the best in the entire year because everything was on the line and there was so many comebacks. Like there was like 4 or 5 comebacks where it was like astronomical comebacks. And I mean, that just leads us into the Thursday nighter.
Yeah, the Thursday nighter was, just an unbelievable game. The back and forth, the ebbs and flows. It seemed like for a minute there, halfway through the game, Griff, I was questioning everything with Seattle. And I've been really optimistic about them. We talked about it on last week's show, whether it was Seattle got hit by that tsunami and they still figured out a way to just get 2 points away, losing on that 60-yard field goal the last time they played. They come into this Thursday nighter at home, no Devontae Adams. Kevin Dotson gets hurt for the Rams. The Rams are dealing with some injuries, and yet they're up 30-14. And Griff, all of a sudden, I'm scratching my head saying Seattle might be a pretender.
No, Seattle, they were dead in the water. Okay, they were dead in the water. It was 30-14, looking bad. Under 10 minutes left, and the Christmas miracle happens of Shaheed, that punt return touchdown. It electrified the Seattle Seahawks. The defense was dead before then. The offense was dead. Sam Darnold just threw a pick. He literally just threw a pick on that before that drive, and then the Rams went 3 and out. They punted it. Shaheed returned it for a touchdown. I was even thinking in my head, I was like, dude, why did they even trade for Shaheed? They never use him offensively, but he is a special teams nightmare. You know what I mean? He had that kick return touchdown a couple weeks ago against the Falcons in to start the second half, and then that punt return really ignited them. And it just snowballed after that. You know what I mean? The 2-point conversion, kid, never seen it before in my life. You have what's his name just picking up the ball out of just pure, just like kind of like, I'll just go pick up this ball.
Charbonnet.
It was a Chardonnay. It was a backwards pass. That was nuts. Then the overtime, Rams go down and score a touchdown. Puka Nakua's on fire. Matthew Stafford's on fire. And then the Seattle Seahawks bounce back with a touchdown and the 2-point conversion. It was funny because the commentators were like, oh, well, the Rams are going to get the ball back. There was like 2.5 minutes left, 3 minutes left. And I'm like, are you guys dumb? Like, they're going to go for 2. Like, what does a tie do for the Seattle Seahawks? No, they went for 2. They got the 2. Now, I will say the Rams, this didn't really... It's not like the Rams are done. You know what I mean? Now, it does suck for the Rams because they need some things now to get the 1 seed, but I think the Rams will be fine. Devontae Adams will come back. They're going to get some guys healthy. I feel like the Rams will be fine. The Seahawks, they just find ways to win.
Yeah, they do. It was such an interesting game. And to your point, I've been waiting for Shaheed to finally figure it out in this offense where I'm like, when are they going to fully get him the ball? And he wasted no time really turning this game around. The kick return or the punt return touchdown, absolutely electrifying. They get the 3 and out. Then they do that reverse play to him. He picks up 25 yards. Shaheed was the spark plug for this team. I was watching the game when Sam Darnold threw that interception. I felt like that was kind of the dagger right there when he threw that interception to Kobe Turner. I'm looking over at my buddies like, this dude just threw a pick to a defensive tackle. I'm like, what are we doing here? Darnold didn't even read the field. He just grabbed the ball and just threw it. And all of a sudden Kobe Turner's right there. And I'm like, yeah, this is not Seattle's day. And sure enough, they made the right plays. It felt like Griff, when they got the ball back, when they had an opportunity to actually go win it in regulation, there were times where I just don't know if Seattle fully trusts Darnold. Like they did a run play and then they did 2 screen passes, punted the ball. Then LA had a chance to go win the game. I'm just wondering, when is it going to catch up with them? Because that's my biggest question. And I think Sam Darnold's a good quarterback, and we've seen, great defenses in the past lead, I guess, okay quarterbacks to win a Super Bowl. If you look at that Broncos team in 2015 when they beat the Panthers, Peyton Manning wasn't, his old Peyton Manning self. Even Joe Flacco, when the Ravens won it a few years before that, we've seen great defenses carry, I would say, above average quarterbacks to winning a Super Bowl. Do you get the same vibe with this Seahawks team? Because I'm kind of left I'm kind of left questioning this game afterwards.
Kane, you mentioned a couple weeks ago, I feel like Sam Darnold doesn't have to be that guy. You know what I mean? He could rely on the defense. He could rely on even like the coaching at times. You know what I mean? The kicker is great. And the Seattle Seahawks have found themselves in a way where they were a 60-yard field goal away from beating the Rams a couple weeks ago or a month ago. And he played terrible. He played absolutely terrible. And then at home, they're down 30-14 and they find ways to win. I don't know. I think Sam Darnold definitely what kind of stinks for the Seattle Seahawks. It doesn't stink, but I mean, it is a bummer because let's just say they win out and get the 1 seed. They're gonna have to play the Rams, Caden. In the divisional round. If you like put your future cap on, they'll get the first round bye. Then the Rams will play Tampa or the Panthers. They're gonna beat them. And then probably the Eagles and the Bears will probably win their games. So it's going to be Seattle versus the Rams and then the Bears versus the Eagles. You know what I mean? If there's no super upsets. So like Seattle, you're going to have to play the Rams again. See, and it's going to be earlier rather than later. Now you will have home field advantage, but and let's just say the 49ers, this whole division that the Seattle Seahawks are in, they're going to have to play each other 3 times in my opinion.
I just wonder if that ever catches up with them though, Griff. Like, they were down 30-14 with 8 minutes to go. And if Shaheed, let's say there's a penalty on that play, like there's a million different plays that went the Seattle's way. I don't know what the percentage looked like on ESPN or whatever, because they always do the little chart. It couldn't have been high. There's no way it could have been over like 1% or something. And even Amazon showed the stat that Seattle was 0-172 or something when they were trailing by 15 plus in the fourth quarter. Like, this has not been done before in the history of their team. And so I'm just sitting here looking at, okay, they're going to have to get through the Rams, to your point. The 2 games that they've played the Rams, Darnold's got 6 picks. I'm just wondering if that's ever going to catch up with them. Now, if he plays a game where Seattle goes conservative like they tried to on that final drive, maybe they can lean on the running game. But Griff, me and you are both going to expect this Rams team to be a lot better because they're going to get Devontae back. They're probably going to get Kevin Dotson back. They're going to be better and they're going to be healthier. I just don't know if realistically, if Seattle doesn't get the 1 seed, if they can win 4 straight games. I don't know. I leave questioning it just a tiny bit.
Don't even question it a tiny bit. I'm telling you right now, Caden, anyone could win the NFC.
Yeah.
Like I have like if the Seahawks win the 1 seed and lose in the divisional round, it's gonna be to the Rams. You know what I mean? It's not gonna be to a bum squad. You know what I mean? I could see the Eagles, if the Eagles win this week against the Bills and then next week against Washington, that's momentum. If the Eagles went back to the Super Bowl, would not be shocked. I say I would be shocked if the Bears, the Bears, if they can control the line of scrimmage and have some home field advantage, they can make moves. I just feel like now I will be surprised if the Packers at the 7 seed won because of they have just a ton of injuries, and even the 49ers. I think this playoffs is going to be absolutely nuts. Anyone can beat anyone in this playoffs.
Yeah, I completely agree with you, and that'll take us to Saturday, where we saw 3 of those teams that are going to be in the postseason for the NFC. Philadelphia did a nice little dance on Washington. They got it done. They pulled away in the second half. They won 29-18. What'd you see in this one?
I'll keep this one short. The Philadelphia Eagles were down 10-7 at halftime, and they were not looking good. They just blew the doors off of Washington in the second half. They woke up in the second half. Jalen Hurts had this sick third and goal, but like 15 yards out, touchdown pass to I believe it was the tight end. I can't remember his name off the top.
Goddard.
Goddard. Saquon, he rushed for over 100 plus yards. He was great. I'm telling you right now, if the Eagles win this week against Buffalo, that's all the momentum they need to take that into the playoffs and go to the Super Bowl. And I'm telling you right now, Caden, if they go to the Super Bowl, I wouldn't be shocked if they won that, John. Like, because they've been there before. They'll be playing someone who's never been there before. I'm trying to think of the AFC side. Like, none of those fools have been there. Patrick Mahomes is gone. Joe Burrow's no longer. He's not making the playoffs. So
probably no Lamar.
Not be shocked. Probably no Lamar. And yeah, I would not be shocked if the Eagles got on a little run right here. Now, don't get me wrong, they would have to beat Buffalo. And I'm a huge momentum guy. If you're having momentum right into the playoffs, but they just beat up on Washington. Washington, they were down to the 3rd string quarterback. Didn't even know the dude's name. But yeah, the Eagles, they're turning it around.
Yeah, they are. And I think if they can just sustain the consistency offensively, that's the big thing for me. And I think it starts with running the football, Griff. The last 3 weeks, I will say they've been running the football a lot better with Saquon. You go back to the Chargers 3 weeks ago, 20 carries, 122 yards and a touchdown. Last week against the Raiders, 22 carries, 78 yards and a touchdown. And then this past weekend against the Commanders, 21 carries, 132 yards and a touchdown. So this has been the best 3 week stretch that we've seen from Saquon Barkley and this team's ability to run the football. And when you look at them rushing for 2,000 yards with Saquon last year, Griff, that was the staple of their offense. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to tell you that's what opens up everything for this Philadelphia team. So if Saquon can start running the ball at a high level, and if they can unlock that, I'm with you. This is the litmus test game for me for Philadelphia this week. If they beat Buffalo on the road, I'm sitting here changing my tune a little bit on Philadelphia. This is a monster game for them. Packers Bears was just an absolute banger, Griff. This was one of those games that was up there with Seattle and that Rams game on Thursday. The NFL's been having some primetime bangers. Chicago is down 10 in the fourth. Jordan Love gets knocked out with a concussion. Packers just continue to be ravaged with injuries, but Caleb Williams, the Iceman, made all the big time plays in the big moments.
He did. We were spoiled this past weekend, Caden. We were spoiled this past weekend, and I think it's because we're not going to get spoiled on Christmas. We'll get to, you'll see those picks in a different pod, but yeah, this game was very weird. Malik Willis is a solid backup quarterback.
Yes.
I mean, he came in and he dominated realistically. Now, he made some mistakes late in the game, but I mean, the Bears had to the Bears looked dead. I mean, just like Seattle Seahawks looked dead. The Bears looked dead. They get the ball. They score a field goal late. They have to get the onside. And Romeo Doubs, what are you doing, man? I mean, he was too top heavy with the Guardian cap or something, because that was atrocious. That was atrocious. And what happens? They muff that onside kick. The Bears get a touchdown on 4th and 5, I believe. Like that touchdown in the back of the end zone.
That was a 4th and 5. And not only that, Griff, on the drive before, there was that big face mask on Caleb Williams where it was like 4th and 20. They didn't need to do that. And that extended the game. They kicked the field goal. And to your point, everything went Chicago's way.
Everything went Chicago's way. And then in OT, the Packers, they get the ball, drive down, get it to the Bears, 40? And then they go for the 4th and 1. They fumble, turnover on downs. The Bears had all the momentum. DJ Moore, great pass by Caleb Williams, and the Bears not only pull it off, now they're going to be the division champs. Like, that game was so huge for the Chicago Bears franchise, because they were dead in the water, Caden. They were absolutely dead in the water. And I don't know if Jordan Love's going to play this week against Baltimore, but I mean, I think Malik Willis can get the job done. And the Packers, they're just ravaged with injuries. They're just absolutely ravaged with injuries. That's why I like, if they went on a run, maybe you disagree because I know you're a Love guy, and I'm not saying I'm not a Love guy. I just think like he doesn't have the people around him. I think it's going to be very difficult for them. But yeah, it was a great win by Chicago. Division champs.
Yeah, I'm in agreement with you. They're going to pull away. They're going to win it. Green Bay, they need like a Herculean effort just to win these last 2 games. I think they're in the position now where you've got to accept where you are at that 7 seed. Schefter said on McAfee yesterday that either one of the 2 quarterbacks is going to be good to go because Malik Willis got that shoulder injury. I want to say it was in the late 4th quarter, right before overtime, which is just terrible timing in terms of his crazy game. Then they force overtime and Willis takes a big shot that he didn't even need to take, and then it goes into overtime. But one of those 2 quarterbacks is going to be ready to go. To your point, Malik Willis, this is one of those guys that I think it can be a Sam Darnold, Baker Mayfield 2.0. Had a lot of hype and kind of a questionable draft class a few years ago. Goes and backs up Jordan Love here, learns the LaFleur offense. He came in last year, had some really good moments when Love got hurt. Malik Willis looks like a solid player. And I think a blueprint in the NFL that we've seen, even with Jared Goff too, going to Detroit. It's like, hey, if you don't feel like your roster is fully constructed to go win a championship, why not go take a flyer on a guy like Malik Willis, see what he can give you, continue to build the roster around him, and maybe you turn into a situation where you're like Seattle or where you're like Detroit, and all of a sudden you're competing with Malik Willis playing really well. That was, first of all, what really impressed me with that. Green Bay, Griff, I still think they can go on a run. I was thinking about it This is why Jordan Love's making $55 million, Griff. And we talk about it all the time. When these quarterbacks are making big time money, you're expected to make the big time plays. And we talked about this on the live stream too. I was kind of surprised. This is year 6 for Jordan Love. And it seems like it's been accelerated because he sat for 3 years behind Rodgers, which is kind of wild to me. But this is only his 3rd year starting in the NFL. But Griff, that's 6 years. He's got to go make the plays. This is the healthiest and best receiving core that he's going to have heading into a playoffs. I understand you're not going to have Micah Parsons. You're going to have Josh Jacobs. You're going to have Christian Watson. You're most likely going to have Romeo Doubs. You're going to have Jaden Reed. You're going to have Matthew Golden, even though he hasn't been that big of a threat. The only guy you're missing is Tucker Kraft. Last year, you were ravaged with injuries. So in my head, the way I'm seeing this, you're making $55 million. We've seen you win playoff games before. We've seen you get hot at the right time. Take this week to get healthy. You only have to win 1 out of 2 because Detroit really helped out Green Bay losing this past weekend against Pittsburgh, and we'll get into that game. But Green Bay's only got to win 1 game, Griff, and they play Baltimore at home this weekend, and then they play Minnesota on the road in week 18. So you win one of those games, you clinch your playoff spot. You're not going to win the division, but you clinch your playoff spot. I think you can be pretty happy about that. And then the rest is let's win 4 games and see what happens.
And they definitely want the Bears to get the 2 seed. If they're going to sit there at the 7 seed, they want the Bears to get the 2 seed because they don't want the Eagles to get the 2 seed. Because I don't know, that's just me thinking like I'd rather play the Bears in Chicago than Philly in Philadelphia, if that makes sense. Who would you rather play?
I'm in agreement with you. If you're Green Bay, you're thinking, okay, we already beat them once, and the second time we played them, it took our starting quarterback getting injured and them getting an onside kick and them getting like 2 crazy 4th down plays, whether it was that touchdown and then the face mask, like similar to Seattle, LA. Everything went their way, Griff. Everything went their way. But let's move into Sunday here. Saw some great games here, some big games, some big implications. The morning slate wasn't that exciting. The afternoon got a little better. We'll roll through these morning slate games here. Buffalo is a 10-point favorite, made things very interesting with Cleveland, but they ultimately pulled it out. Dawson Knox dropped that touchdown that kind of killed some potential gamblers' bets. But Buffalo 3, anything crazy in this one?
Nothing super crazy. Buffalo, they just overlooked the Browns. You know, I mean, they've been playing a couple good games, a couple good teams this past couple weekends. I mean, they played the Patriots, they played the Bengals. They just overlooked the Browns. They got up early in this game and they just packed it in. You know what I mean? And it's a classic overlooked job. Now they didn't cover the spread, so if you were on the spread for the Bills, you were definitely hot. But the Browns. Myles Garrett didn't get the sack record. You know what I mean? I think he's 1 full sack away. I think he ended up getting a half sack on Josh Allen. And then you have Shedeur Sanders. Shedeur Sanders, listen, I know the Browns are terrible. Shedeur Sanders is holding on to the ball way too long. Way too long. And he has got to get rid of that. And when he does get rid of it, he can't be getting these intentional grounding calls because that absolutely screws the Browns. Am I saying that Shedeur Sanders can never play quarterback? No, I'm just saying... Guys, we can critique Shedeur Sanders without saying that he should never play football again. No, I think he should be the Browns starter next year. But I mean, he's just holding on to the ball for way too long. I get it. The offensive line is bad, and the wide receivers might not be open. But I mean, you have to. You can't take these. And the sacks that he's taken, 20-yard lost sacks, Caden. It's just you just can't do it. And I get it. He's a rookie. He's going to develop a little more. But yeah, the Bills, they just overlooked them.
Yeah. Every time Red Zone flashed to that Bills-Browns game and they showed a big play, it was like Shedeur Sanders running backwards and just Gregory Rousseau or somebody just nailing him in the backfield. I'm like, Shedeur, throw the ball away for the love of goodness gracious. And then he has that just horrible intentional grounding, goes down at the 1-yard line and just completely screws them from being able to do anything there.
They had Buffalo, a lot of chances to win that game, but I mean, Buffalo pulled it out.
They did. But ultimately, Cleveland, why do you want to win that game? You want the draft pick and then like for Buffalo, this game doesn't really do too much for me here because Griff, they're just trying to win. They're just trying to stay alive and not show everything. Like they're not throwing the kitchen sink at Cleveland. Tennessee, this team had like a top 2 pick, top 3 pick, and they waxed Kansas City. Cam Ward at his best game as a pro here. I mean, he looks good, Griff. He looks good.
No, and I believe we called this. You know what I mean? Tennessee was 3-point dogs. Or the Titans were 3-point dogs, and we were just like, the Chiefs have nothing to play for. They're planning their trips. They want to lose these games. They want to help their draft stock better. Tennessee is kind of like the Saints. They want to see their young quarterbacks develop, and that's exactly what happened. Now, Gardner Minshew went out, and I'm not going to lie, I don't even know the third-string quarterback's name for the Kansas City Chiefs, but it was really a no-brainer, and we were on it. You know, you were saying like the Tennessee Titans, they want to see Cam Ward to develop, and we knew that they were going to win this game.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think for Tennessee, I think they're okay with losing the draft pick because they want positivity to kind of build them into this offseason. They want that positive momentum where it's like, all right, we could lose out on a few draft picks here. That's probably the last game they're going to win, but at least they can feel good knowing like, hey, Cam Ward had one of his best games as a pro, probably his best game as a pro heading into the final stretch here with 2 games left. Kansas City, they've packed it in. They called their travel agents. They're going to Tahiti. They're going to the Bahamas, Cancun, whatever it may be. They're getting out of there. Devastating for Gardner Minshew here. I mean, that is just so awful. I mean, I can't even remember seeing something like this. Mahomes goes down with the torn ACL and then Minshew goes down with I mean, there's 2 starting quarterbacks in back-to-back weeks with the same injuries. That's pretty devastating here. To your point, I don't even know who's going to suit up at quarterback this week. They may need me and you to go catch a flight down there and run some QB action. I mean, are you up for it? Are you up for it? Like,
it's in Arrowhead, right?
Yeah, it's in Arrowhead. We could catch
it's in Arrowhead against. Hey, don't mark me down. They have to play Denver. Don't mark me. I don't want any problems with that defense.
That's a great point. Yeah, I'm not trying to get absolutely waxed by that defense. I think that's like a 13-point spread. The Christmas slate, it was supposed to be generational. I saw it on Twitter, but you've got like some just dookie quarterbacks playing on Christmas. It's going to be an NBA Christmas for my family. It's going to be an NBA Christmas for my family.
Well, because all the favorites are going to win those games.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And you know, Joe Burrow is he happy again? Is Joe Burrow finally is he finding some life? I mean, last week I didn't even know if this dude was maybe going to play football in 2 or 3 years, and he comes out here, lights up just a bad Dolphins team. We find out that they're ultimately going to get rid of Tua and they're going to keep Mike McDaniel. And then there was kind of some conflicting reports, and it got reported yesterday, I think, that maybe they haven't made an official decision. Maybe they're leaning one way with Mike McDaniel. Anything special in this game?
Absolutely not. We got the news that Quinn Ewers was going to play. That's openly tanking right in front of our eyes, Kate. And listen, Tua's not good. We said it in last week's pod. I mean, Tua's a 6 or a 5. Ewers is a 1. You know what I mean? That's openly tanking in front of your eyes without openly tanking, if that makes sense. Yeah, Joe Burrow, he toasted up that Dolphins defense. The Dolphins, just like the Kansas City Chiefs, they packed it in. You know what I mean? So when they lost the Steelers and were officially eliminated, they packed it in. The Dolphins, they're cooked, they're done. The Bengals, like you said, they're just playing for fun, really, because there's no playoff hopes.
Yeah, well, the problem is for Miami too. Like Devon Achane went on like Amon-Ra's podcast and stuff and said that those guys like after games are going to some of those guys are going to the clubs. Like, first of all, I don't know if that's a great thing to say on your pod, like to say on a podcast.
Yeah, that's rough.
After games, you're going to clubs and stuff like during the season. Like, no wonder you guys are 6-9. But it's like, if you're in Kansas City, it's understandable when you've got no shot to pack it up and get ready for the beach. If you're in Miami, okay, we lost. So what? Now I get to go chill in the winter and I get to go be in the 70 beautiful 80-degree beach in Miami. Like there's no incentive for these Dolphins guys right now. And Tua, this guy's sitting on the bench all cheery, making $53 million a year. I mean, there's not a care in the world for Tua. And you know what? Good for him. He's got his money. Yeah. I can't hate. I cannot hate. Justin Herbert's looked really good. And there was a conversation for a minute there about Tua and Justin Herbert, which is, I always thought was absolutely freaking ridiculous. But Justin Herbert, man, this Chargers team, they've been cooking. Here they are, 11-4. And, even though you beat down on a Dallas team that doesn't have a lot to play for, I don't think Dallas is necessarily bad. And going on the road and beating anyone in the NFL is impressive. Do you think this Chargers team can go on a run here? Like, are they not getting enough credit?
I don't think the Chargers can go on a run. I don't think the Chargers are going to go on a run. They're just too injured, riddled. Side note, if you made it this far into the pod, we appreciate you. Give it a like, give it a comment. We appreciate you guys. We appreciate you guys. Yes, but the Chargers Cowboys, this was another game where it was like, why are the Dallas Cowboys favored? Like, I had no idea. Like the Chargers were dogs. And now, don't get me wrong, the first half was entertaining. But I mean, this defense is not good for the Dallas Cowboys. And to add insult, because going into the week, they needed the Eagles to lose out and for the Cowboys to win out for them to make the playoffs. The Eagles won the division on Saturday. So by Sunday, these dudes were making their their trips. You know what I mean? They
Yep.
were planning their vacay trips, and the first half they were good. The first half, the Dallas Cowboys offensively were good. The second half, I don't know if Jerry Jones got in the locker room and was like, knock that shit off. Like, we're just ruining our draft stock in there. But I mean, they took an absolute nosedive offensively in the second half. But yeah, no, the Herbinator carved up that defense. Absolutely carved up that defense. Shout out Lad McDonkey. Shout out Hampton. Shout out the Chargers. But when you're talking about playoffs and if they can make a run, I just think the injuries are just going to stack up against them. The offensive line, I shout out the Chargers. I want you to do good. I just think those injuries are going to show up. They play Houston this week. Huge game right there. And we'll see what the Chargers are made of in that game.
Yeah, I just, to your point, I just wonder at what point do we start believing in them? Like, this team has won 7 out of their last 8 games. And I was in agreement with you where I'm like, I don't know. I don't know if they can make a run. Like, everybody wants to knock Herbert for his postseason struggles, and the 2 tackles are out, and they finally got Hampton back. No Najee Harris. I mean, the injuries have just been horrible all year long. Then I'm asking myself, Griff, I'm like, you know, at what point do I believe? Like, they just beat the Cowboys. They beat the Chiefs. They beat the Eagles. I would say those are 3 pretty formidable opponents. Like, they've been competitive. They've been good. And Justin Herbert, he's building that confidence. Like, this is a team that they've got weapons on the outside. If they can run the football, that's going to be the staple of their offense to get to that play action. The defense has been playing really, really well. Griff, I just wonder, when is it like we're finally going to give them the recognition and credit that they deserve? And I think it's going to be these last 2 weeks. If I'm answering my own question here, it's going to be these last 2 weeks here where they play Houston and Denver probably.
Caden, I'm not going to lie. I'm not even going to give them the credit, even if they win these next 2 games. I need to see them win a playoff game. Remember last year, the Chargers were going into the playoffs red hot, and the Texans looked dog water. They looked like they couldn't complete a pass, and the Chargers stunk in that playoff game. I mean, what Herbinator throw 4 interceptions? He was terrible. So I'm gonna need to see, and the Jags as well a couple years back. But I'm gonna need to see the Chargers win a playoff game before I start giving them credit.
Yeah, that's fair. That's totally fair. But it's like the NFC and the AFC, Griff. It's so unpredictable right now. I feel like every year we could always like write in Mahomes or Josh Allen in the Super Bowl. And then in the NFC, we've always known that the 49ers and the Eagles have been like the cream of the crop over the last few years. And then like Brady before that when he was with the Bucs. But like, Griff, right now, I don't know. Like, I could tell you confidently after this weekend that I'd probably go LA and Buffalo in the Super Bowl. But if you told me that it was Houston versus Seattle, I would sit here and say, okay, that's totally fair. If you told me if it was New England versus, honestly, the 49ers, I wouldn't even sit here and be surprised. Like, I think there is a path for all 14 of these playoff teams to get hot, win a few games, and make it to the Super Bowl. And that's the beauty of football league. Griff, the Carolina Panthers could maybe even make a run. They could maybe make a run. Bryce Young has been impressing the heck out of me each and every single week. I didn't think we were going to win this game. I'll be fully transparent. On the predictions pod last week, I said I think the Bucs win this with four fully healthy receivers. And now I'm sitting back here saying, well, man, the Panthers, they're kind of nice. The Buccaneers, they stink. What is going on?
I said that. I literally said last week, I said, I don't know why the Panthers are dogs in this game. Now, the Panthers are a roller coaster. They stink one week, then they're good one week. But the Bucs have just been bad. They have just been bad. And now I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, if the Panthers win one of these next 2 games, they're champs, right?
Yeah, correct. We play Seattle this week, and then we play Tampa next week.
In Tampa next week. Yeah, I agree with you. Tampa stinks. Don't know what it is about them. Baker Mayfield has looked garbage these last 6 or 7 weeks. And the defense has looked bad. Bryce Young, when he was getting out of that out of the pocket, and he avoided that sack and he threw that touchdown. I don't know if it was the last touchdown the Panthers got, but that was nice.
I think it was.
Nice.
That was pretty.
Yeah, no, that was nice. And then the Panthers, are they going to be on the roller coaster that they lose to Seattle, or are they going to be on the roller coaster that they beat Seattle? You know what I mean? The Panthers are a team that beat the Rams and beat the Green Bay Packers. So we'll see what that's going to be like. And I believe who does Tampa play this week coming up?
Let me pull that up for you real quick here.
I think it's like
I think they play someone. They play the Dolphins, And I
Okay.
mean, with Ewers, you just never know. The defense has been so stinky. Anything could happen. They're a 5.5-point favorite right now.
Yeah, they're 5.5-point favorite. But yeah, I agree with you. The Bucks stink, and the Panthers were dogs in that game at home. Don't know why. I would understand like if they were at Tampa Bay, why they'd be like 2.5-point dogs for the Panthers. But yeah, the Panthers have impressed me. We'll see what they can do in the playoffs because sadly they're probably going to have to play the Rams or Seattle. So that's going to be a tough one for them. But hey, they played Seattle this week and they've already beat the Rams. So who knows?
Yeah, I can't lie. We would get absolutely boat raced if we played the Rams or Seattle. That would be a tough first matchup. And that's the problem with the NFC, where it's like you've got the wild card teams. If it's let's say LA, Green Bay, and who would that other one be? That would be
San Fran.
Yeah, San Fran. I mean, I think those three teams would arguably be better than if it's Chicago at 2, Philly at 3, and Carolina at 4. I think the wild card teams would probably all have a very serious chance at winning in the first round, but I digress. Yeah, Carolina, Bryce Young, he's earning his money right now. And I think coming into this game, I felt that this is the most important stretch of his career. This is year 3 of the Bryce Young experience. You want to go out with some crazy momentum here. You want to go out and you're playing the Bucs twice and you're playing Seattle. Realistically, you want to win these final 3 games or just get into the playoffs and prove that you're the franchise guy. And I've already been very impressed with Bryce this year, just this whole turnaround after he got benched. But Griff, I think we could both sit here and say like this is the most important stretch of his career. Get into the playoffs, win, take care of your business, and let's see what you can do in the postseason, because ultimately you're the number 1 overall pick. You've got high expectations. The Panthers traded a lot to go get you, and look at what Caleb Williams is doing right now. This is year 3 of Bryce Young. I want to see him in the playoffs. I want to see a potential playoff win against the Rams, Seahawks, 49ers, whoever it may be. I've got high expectations, but I think that's totally fair when you're a former number 1 overall pick. A guy that's really not getting that much love right now, Griff, is Tyler Shuck. I mean, the dude is cooking right now, and he's 2-0 against the Panthers this year. Another tremendous game. He is 4-3 as the Saints starter, and they were 1-8 without him. I mean, the dude is absolutely cooking right now, and I've been really impressed with what I've seen from him. Chris Olave, I don't know if you knew this. Chris Olave, I think he's 7th in receiving yards in the NFL right now. He's quietly having just very spectacular season. And he opened up about it in the press conference. And that's what made me look into it, where he's like, man, I almost retired. I'm 24 years old. He's still in his rookie contract. He was one of the best receivers in the country, and he still is one of the best receivers in the NFL. Like, this dude's mega talented. The Saints are building something here.
No, Tyler Shue, they're just that game was just like the Titans game. You know what I mean? Like we talked about a little earlier. The Saints want to see this young, he's not super young, but I mean, they want to see this quarterback develop. You know what I mean? Yeah, they want to see him develop. And if that means winning games and ruining your draft stock, not ruining your draft stock, but I mean lessening your draft stock, that's okay. Because if they found their quarterback, they can draft an offensive lineman at that number 9 pick or a linebacker at that number 9 pick. They want to see him develop. And the Saints are getting a little bit of momentum. Now, I will say they played the Jets, and then Brady Cook was the quarterback, but the Saints get the job done. Don't know off the top of my dome who the Saints play this week, but I mean, Tyler Shue, he's going to be balls to the wall trying to win these games.
They got Tennessee on the road, and they got Atlanta on the road. I mean, realistically, they could win those last 2 games, and that really does hurt your draft stock. But I think you have some crazy momentum heading into the offseason with Tyler Shue winning all these games. I mean, dude, they were 1-8 with Spencer Ratface. That's your nickname for him.
Yep.
And then all of a sudden they just started cooking all of a sudden with Tyler Shue. So I've been really impressed with what I've seen from the Saints. This is huge for them, because the division, if Tampa Bay's struggling like this, Carolina, you're 2-0 against, you've got to feel pretty good next year. Like, we've got a shot. Kellen Moore's building something there. Vikings, Giants, another kind of interesting one. You're just hoping for some momentum. Vikings now 7-8. McTrash Bags gets hurt. I don't know. Would you deem this as a McTrash Bags or a 9 game up until he got hurt?
Believe it or not, neither. He was a JJ McCarthy. He wasn't 9 and he wasn't McTrash Bags, because I was watching this game, Caden. He was putting the ball in these wide receivers' hands. They just dropped it. I mean, Addison touchdown drop. Justin Jefferson was dropping balls. Like everyone was not helping this guy out. And then finally, in that first half, he had to run in a touchdown because he was like, "Screw it! All these dudes stink right now. They're not catching the ball. They're not helping me out. I'm running this John in." Now he did hurt his hand right before halftime. They were up by, I believe they were up by 10, and it was just a blindside. The blindside block never got picked up, and he got absolutely smoked, and then he hurt his hand. And then the third string quarterback had to come in the second half. A lot of people are talking about Jackson Dart. I want to talk about Jackson Dart for a second. Jackson Dart, they're saying like, oh, maybe we need to draft a quarterback. I'm hearing those rumblings too. Listen, they got to Jackson Dart, and they said, we don't want to win. We're going to run the most vanilla plays. They didn't throw the ball, Caden. I know if you didn't watch the game, he had 32 passing yards like in the first half. Like they did not throw the ball.
He ended the game with 33 passing yards. I'm looking right now. How's that even possible?
No, it was insane because they're openly tanking without openly tanking in front of your eyes because they're running the most vanilla offense. And they told him, listen, on those third downs, hold the ball for another second. Hold the ball for another second and a half, and maybe don't make those third down throws. And they get the number 1 overall pick. They are the number 1 overall pick currently right now. Now, they do play the Raiders in the Pooper Bowl this week. We'll talk about that later.
Ooh, I like that.
But
that was a bar.
They're openly tanking. Jackson Dart, he's going to be fine. When he gets his young, talented offensive weapons back for next year, they're going to be fine. But yeah, it was a rough game. Vikings end up winning, though.
The Pooper Bowl. I mean, you were cooking with that one, Griff. I can't lie. If you're the Giants, you're not taking Mendoza. I don't know what the heck people are talking about. That's absolutely ludicrous. If you get the number 1 overall pick, you're trading back to like pick 5 or 6, getting a ton of assets, and you're taking the best receiver in the country, and that's Jordan Tyson, and you're teaming him up with Malik Neighbors. You're getting him back with his collegiate teammate in the Scat Pack, Cam Skataboo, and you're going guns a-blazing into next year saying, Jackson Dart, get out of the concussion tent, throw the ball to your playmakers. Let's go win some football games. Griff, that's an exciting situation for any head coach that would take over. They better do their absolute hardest to tank in the Pooper Bowl, because I would love to see. I'm honestly rooting for New York to get the number 1 overall pick so that Jackson Dart can just get some more pretty weapons and get some better guys around him. Because man, that would be fun to watch. Let's hop into the afternoon slate here. Jaguars Broncos. This was the surprise game of the week for me. Fully transparent. I've been critical of Trevor Lawrence this year, and I would say the criticism has come from the fact that you're making $55 million and you've got to step up when you're making that type of money, and you've got to win playoff games. Now that he's the guy, Griff, they've been winning football games with Brian Thomas Jr. kind of quiet, with no Travis Hunter. I'm honestly speechless right now. And they just dominated the Broncos. Like, this is supposed to be the best defense in football. Griff, they lit them up. They absolutely lit them up.
The Jags have arrived, Caden. The Jags have arrived, and they need that needs to happen for all you fools out there's like, oh, don't jump on the Jags bandwagon now. But I mean, like, you need to see these teams beat these good teams for you to be like, okay, now they're in the upper echelon. That's exactly what the Jags did. They went to Denver and smoked them. I mean, Washington had like 150 yards. That Broncos defense stunk. Absolutely stunk. And hey, they've been carrying them for a lot all year. Talk about Bo Nix. Bo Nix played good. Like, pull up the stats on Bo Nix. Bo Nix played well enough to win that game. It's just the defense sold. Now, the Denver Broncos, are they frauds? Are they bums? Are they bozos? No, I don't throw them to the side because they're still in the number 1 slot for the AFC. If they win out, they're going to be the number 1 seed. It's going to be very difficult to play in Denver. But the Jacksonville Jaguars impressed me. Trevor Lawrence has impressed me. He's finally playing what they paid him for. You know what I mean? They paid him the big bucks, and now he's delivering. Let's just see if he can do it in the playoffs. Let's just see if they can ride this momentum into the playoffs. The Jags have arrived. They are now, like we talk about, you wouldn't be shocked I would not be shocked if the Jags went to the Super Bowl. They are that good right now. They're playing their best ball right now, and you need to be playing your best ball right now. Jacksonville Jaguars, all the kudos to you, all the flowers to you. You have arrived.
Yeah, and I think you made a good point bringing that up earlier, where you're talking about how you're not getting on the Jaguars bandwagon. I mean, Griff, people are quick to forget Trevor Lawrence was the number 1 overall pick. This guy, when he was being drafted, was regarded as the next up, like the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. Like, this guy was going to absolutely murder it in the NFL. And it's year 5. He's gotten the tied for the second highest contract in the history of the National Football League, $55 million. That's your expectations. And to your point, you got to win playoff games. Like, this isn't just like, hey, we win 11 regular season games and this is the peak of Trevor Lawrence. No, the peak is to win a Super Bowl. That is why you're taking number 1 overall. That is why you go out and trade up for Travis Hunter. You go get Brian Thomas Jr. You go trade for Jacoby Myers. You're building around Trevor, and he's finally unlocking it. But I still think there's more meat on the bone. You still expect more. And Griff, would you say that it's a disappointing season if Jacksonville loses in the first round? I would say it is.
100% if they lose in the first round, it's a disappointing season. And like you said, Trevor Lawrence, it's not like he's in his year 2. Like, no, Trevor Lawrence, we've been waiting for this to arrive for 5 seasons. I'm not saying like you needed to play this good in your rookie year, but I mean, by year 2-3, we expected this to be playing. Trevor Lawrence, you're playing good right now. Develop it. And like you said, if they lose in the first round, because it's looking like they're going to win their division, if they lose in the first round, it's a massive disappointment.
Yeah. And then I think that's the thing that gets lost in the entire shuffle, where people have different expectations and different goalposts for certain players. Like, I will say Jalen Hurts hasn't necessarily been playing lights out every single week, but that dude wasn't a first round pick. And people are expecting him to be the best player on the planet every single week. Trevor Lawrence was taken number 1 overall. And I understand the situation was spotty in the beginning, but still, number 1 overall, $55 million. You go get Liam Cohen. You go invest in the receiving core. This is all to build around Trevor. And I'm happy that he's finally succeeding. I'm happy that he's turning this page, because Griff, it's anyone's AFC for the taking right now. And me and you are both in agreement, right, with that. Falcons, Cardinals, nothing crazy here. Kirk O'Chains does his thing. The Cardinals are absolutely moose, 3-12.
Yeah, it's tough to say. The Cardinals, absolute moose. They're playing for the draft. They've done an excellent job at playing for the draft because they stink. McBride, best tight end in the NFL. Shout out McBride. But yeah, the Falcons win. They don't even get their first round pick next year. So it was really just a weird nothing burger of a game. It didn't help the Falcons at all. And the Cardinals lose but win because they better their draft stock.
This is now 7 straight losses for Arizona. I mean, I don't know what the silver lining is for this team. Like, you're going to trade Kyler.
I don't think there is one.
Yeah. I mean, you said you're going to trade Kyler. Maybe the silver lining is like Michael Wilson's awesome. Like, I don't know what other silver lining there is. Like Marvin Harrison Jr., another quiet week. I don't know whether to be a believer in him. Like, he was taken 4th overall. McBride's the best tight end in football, to your point. Michael Wilson's pretty special. Those are the 3 guys that you're like, okay, that's really solid. And then I'm blanking on his name now. Who's the defensive tackle out of Ole Miss who tore his Achilles?
Yeah, I'm blanking on his name too.
I mean, that's a terrible, terrible loss. Walter Nolan III, excuse me. Yeah. That's terrible. Like, I don't know where the silver lining is for Arizona and what their direction's going to be. I would say if they have a direction, I say you go trade for Davis Mills or you go get Malik Willis. I don't know.
I agree. Or mac and cheese.
Yeah, or mac and cheese. Like, I don't know if this team's ready to go get like a young quarterback, and do they want to go do that with Jonathan Gannon, who I don't know if they're going to fire him or not. Like, if it's Jonathan Gannon on the hot seat, I don't think it's great for a rookie quarterback to go into a situation where a coach is coaching for his job and all of a sudden it's desperation mode. Like, I don't think that's very good. We saw it with Dable this year. I don't know if I love the situation in Arizona. I think you go to the backup quarterback route, see how you turn that around. Steelers Lions was one of the weirdest games I've watched in a long time. I don't know if you were tuned in for it, but it looked like Detroit was going to kind of pull away from it. First half, they were up 10-3. One of the weirder touchdowns I've ever watched, that whole Kenneth Gainwell thing. He scores, thought he was down. He wasn't down. He scores, ties it up at the end of half. And then Pittsburgh does a Pittsburgh. They keep fighting. They stay dirty. And wasn't Gainwell. I want to say it was Gainwell. One was Gainwell, or was it 2 that were both Warren? It
might have been 2 both Warren.
Yeah, they were both like Warren.
Plus yarders.
Popped 2 long runs. Last drive, Detroit stays alive. Boswell misses the field goal. They get all the way down there. 2 offensive pass interferences, a false start. Jared Goff, Houdini, catches it, jumps over a guy. Did you know that was a rule? If an offensive, I always thought if a penalty happened on the last play of the game, it extended it. I didn't know that if an offensive pass interference happened, it's over.
I didn't know that either. I did not know that either.
So weird, but that's just Pittsburgh for you, Griff. That's Pittsburgh.
No,
They figure out a way to win. They're 9-6.
They're never gonna have a losing season under Tomlin. And it was weird because right before halftime, it was 10-3. Gainwell got that touchdown. Then it was like a weird vibe of like, okay, something's off. And then the third quarter hit, and the Lions had a third quarter against the Rams like 2 weekends ago. They just stunk. The Lions absolutely stunk. The Steelers, they had the ball. I want to say, did you see that stat? Like they had the ball for like 13 and a half minutes of the third quarter.
I didn't see that.
And
that's absolutely
the Lions had the ball literally for maybe 45 seconds. And then at the end, the Lions were dead. The Lions were absolutely dead. And then Boswell missing a kick. That was weird. Boswell never misses kicks. Now, don't get me wrong. If it was a 60-yarder, he even makes the 60-yarder. But this was what, a 30-yarder? Maybe even shorter. Yeah, it was a gimme for him. He misses it. The Lions drive all the way down. They get the ball first and 10 on the 11 or first and 10 on the 11-yard line. 50 seconds left. And somehow the Lions absolutely smoke it. They got the first pass interference, which was ticky-tacky. Don't get me wrong. I could see where the second one on Amon-Ra was 100% offensive pass interference. Goes up, pushes Ramsey, and that, of course that is. But the play before that, 18 drops a touchdown pass. I don't Yeah, he drops a touchdown pass. It would have been a difficult catch, but it was right in the dude's hands. Yeah. Right in the dude's hands. No one's talking about that. Absolutely no one's talking about that. But that's how the cookie crumbles. Detroit don't have a dog water third quarter, and the Steelers couldn't get 15 yards 2 weekends ago. They have an abysmal run game. They ran for 200 plus yards on you, Lions. The Lions, they're absolutely cooked, Caden. Let's dive in a little bit more on DK Metcalf. DK Metcalf, what are we doing, man? What are we doing? What were your thoughts on that?
I mean, first of all, stupidity. I mean, there's no other way to say it. And first of all, I didn't like how, it was claimed that it was like a whole like race thing, and then they like pulled it up, and it was like the dude just called him by his government name. I'm like, what are we doing here?
Yeah,
like,
what are we doing?
Like, that's just dumb. And to lose your cool like that, like, it's never okay to do that. And I understand, like, you're in the NFL, you're paid very handsomely to be a professional. And I understand that fans can say some crazy things. And I'm not saying that that's okay, because it's obviously not. But like, you can't go take a swipe at a guy for saying your name. Like, what are we doing here? Like, okay, it's more understandable. Like, what was it earlier in the year when a Buffalo fan pushed a Ravens guy, and Lamar came up there and kind of pushed him back. Like, that's more understandable because it's getting physical. But like, dude, he didn't even do anything, and you're crashing out on him. Griff, the craziest thing, I saw this last night. He's losing out on $45 million guaranteed. I was stunned.
No, it's absolutely nuts. It's absolutely insane. And if you look at the video, Caden, he's like 20 yards away. It's not like he's right up to him. So if he did say the racial stuff, dude, those people around him would have heard him. If he was screaming the stuff about his mom and stuff,
and we would have heard it in the video.
Yeah, we would have heard. The people around him would have said, like, yeah, dude, that dude said that vulgar stuff. Because it wasn't like he was like a foot away and like sneak said it. No, go back and look at the video. He was 20 yards away. DK Metcalf went out of his way during the game and walked over to the fan and ripped him down and swiped him. I don't know, DK Metcalf. I agree with you. You can't be letting words bring you to assaulting someone. You know what I mean? And I get it. And it really wasn't even DK Metcalf who came out and said that he said the racial stuff. It was Chad Ochocinco on the podcast, and it was
and he said that he said that he talked to DK about it, and that was what was alleged. We obviously don't know, but that was what was alleged. But yeah, he came out. Was like, yeah, like, said it was a racial slur. I talked to DK after. I can't remember who else said it, but somebody else did say it too.
Harrison, I believe on a cast. I believe
who was it?
James Harrison.
Was it? I wasn't 100% sure, but I'm not 100% sure who. But I do know, to your point, two people did come out and say it. They're probably going to get sued, which is
for sure
dumb for them. I mean, like, what?
Yeah, I don't know why they said that.
No point in doing that. But yeah, to your point, it's like the dude's 20 yards away saying, like, that's not even like a baby chirp. And I think the one thing that, like, bro, DK Metcalf's like 6'5", absolute like monster of a man. The dude like talks a lot of trash and's fighting a lot of guys on the field. Like, are we a tough guy or are we not? Like, well, I don't know what we're doing here. It's just was very soft, very weird.
And he's a millionaire. Like if I was a millionaire playing a sport, dude, you could be saying the most crazy things to me 20 yards away. I'd be maybe flip him the bird or something, or maybe say F you. But I mean, to put myself in a situation where now I'm going to lose a boatload of money. You knew you were going to get suspended. You knew all those things. Now, will the suspension really hurt them? Because I think they're going to beat the Browns anyways. And when they beat the Browns, they're AFC North champions. But to the whole thing, 20 yards away, walking out of your own way, DK Metcalf, you got to know better, man. You got to know better.
And why didn't any of his teammates like restrain him? Like you're with your guys there. Like nobody was with him. Nobody and I think that's what kind of puts the light bulb out for me. If let's say this dude actually is saying some crazy stuff, racial slurs, whatever it may be, other teammates would hear it too. DK was with other people. So other people would hear it and be like, okay, like this is insane. Security kicked this guy out. And that's what other people were talking about. But now nobody thought it was actually bad. And so they're just like, okay, DK's walking over there. So nobody I don't know. The whole thing was so strange. I think that's just what encapsulates the Pittsburgh Steelers. A wide receiver crashing out, a weird touchdown at the end of the first half, a weird offensive pass interference. I mean, they figure out weird ways to win, Griff.
The game was insane. To wrap up the whole DK Steelers Lions, you're cooked. Lions, you're absolutely cooked. You're not making the playoffs.
Cooked. Hey, I mean, such a bummer. 15 games last year, and you lose to a rookie quarterback in the divisional round, and here you are now. Not even going to make the playoffs. Raiders, Texans, nothing crazy with this one. I thought Geno, the pizza man, was going to throw 3 picks. He actually kind of locked in after the first pick 6, which impressed me. And Ashton Genty, the dude's a Lamborghini and like a beat up house, that one meme. And the dude is so good. He's so good. I was kind of mad about it. I was talking about it on my show on Monday yesterday. I hate that the Raiders drafted him. I hate that the Raiders took him and they have nobody to help block for him up front. Like it's so tough. It's such a tough situation for Genty because he seriously is so talented and like the dude's not even being used at his full potential. Houston wins 7 in a row. We talked about it last week. I kind of want to see them lose this week to Los Angeles so they can just get their blank out and then they're good and then they're ready to go.
Yeah, this game was a classic, just like the Browns versus Bills, Caden. The Texans overlooked them. The Texans are playing the Chargers this week. They overlooked the Raiders. They started off with a pick 6, the Texans. And I thought, okay, here comes the 30-3 game. But no, the Raiders, they fought back. Genty had his best game. His best game of his NFL career was against the badass, great Houston Texans. Now, the offense did look bad for the Texans. They did. They definitely looked bad. But I am chalking that up, Caden, to they overlooked them. They didn't care. They knew they were gonna win this game. They just completely overlooked them. They were on to the Chargers. They didn't even plan Raiders tape this week. They were practicing for the Chargers. Texans, you didn't cover, but you got the job done. You overlooked them. Does it look bad that you didn't cover? Yes, but I mean you're on to LA.
A win is a win. You're getting to the point in the season now where you're trying to stay healthy. You're trying not to show too much vanilla, almost like the Bills Browns earlier in the slate. But Texans, you mean you've got an opportunity here to do something special. I think everyone believes in them. Let's see how they finish out the season strong. Patriots Ravens was a really weird one, Griff. We talked about this. I almost felt like this was the Vegas trap game of the week. The Ravens are catching 3.5 points before the game. Patriots have 11 wins and have a chance to get the 1 seed. The Ravens are just scratching and clawing to try and make it into the playoffs. And first drive, they go down there and score, and it looks like it's just going to be a good old-fashioned whooping. Like it looked like Baltimore was going to unlock what we've been waiting to see all year long. And that's genuinely how I felt after that first touchdown. I'm like, okay, Lamar's making plays. He's getting groovy. Derrick Henry's running the ball at a high level. Then they turned back into the old Ravens. Derrick Henry fumbles. Lamar has that unfortunate back injury, and yet Baltimore still had a double-digit lead late in the fourth.
I want to say an 11-pointer.
And that's why I felt like this was the Vegas trap game of the week, because I'm like, you have Tyler Huntley who comes in, Snoop Huntley who comes in, and they're up double digits in the fourth quarter. They're running the football with ease. And then Drake Maye did Drake Maye things. And that's what I've been wanting to see, Griff. This is the adversity that I've wanted Drake Maye to prove that he could pull off, like hey, can you win in the tough moments on the road against the good teams? And he made every big throw. He made every big play when he had to. I was really impressed.
The Patriots, this was another crazy, weird game where a team comes back at the end. Like you said, the Baltimore Ravens start off this game red hot. They go right down. Was it Derrick Henry who scored the first touchdown, 7-0? Lamar Jackson did get that back injury, but even then, Snoop Huntley comes in. They're up 24-13, looking good, looking good. And then they don't give the ball to Derrick Henry when they needed to. It was weird. The drive before, he drove right down and scored a touchdown and made it 24-13. So it was weird. I get it. He fumbled early, but it was just weird that they didn't run him late in the game. Let's talk about Drake Maye. Drake Maye, amazing fourth quarter, amazing comeback by the Patriots, and they needed this one. They definitely needed this one. If they would have lost to Snoop Huntley, because Lamar went out at halftime, if they would have lost to Snoop Huntley, the fraud alerts were starting to chime in. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They would have definitely chimed in. But Drake Maye, that was like an MVP game. If he wins MVP, you can go back to that game and be like, dude, he was making some excellent throws. And every throw, because I've watched the Patriots all year, dude, almost all the throws that he makes, there's a guy always on the wide receiver. You know what I mean? It's not like the wide. I mean, did you see that fourth down that Stephon Diggs had? I thought that was going the other way. I thought that was going for 6, and he got the job done. that non-PI call on Booty.
Oh my gosh.
Or that deep ball, I was like, what are we doing?
And that's also why I also thought it was a Vegas. I'm like, dude, what the hell are we doing here?
Yeah, no, that was crazy. And then Zay Flowers fumbles late in the game. Now, don't get me wrong, like they had to go down and score a touchdown, but I mean, Zay Flowers is always fumbling at the worst opportune moments. Dude got voted a Pro Bowler today. Don't know who the hell voted him to be a Pro Bowl starter for the wide receivers, but I digress. The Baltimore Ravens, you're cooked. You technically have to win out and hope the Steelers lose to the Browns, but I mean, even if they do, Lamar's probably going to be done. Does Harbaugh get fired? I have no idea. Maybe they go in a different route next year. But the New England Patriots, they came back. Amazing comeback by the Patriots.
Yeah, I don't want to like be a prisoner of the moment too much here, but Griff, I think this is the most impressive win for the Patriots this entire season. And I know they beat the Bills on the road on Sunday Night Football, and that was kind of their like emerging moment. Here we are. They lost to the Bills last week, and to your point, this was like a Baltimore is going to throw the whole kitchen sink at New England to keep their season alive. They are going to do everything in their power to make the playoffs. New England is coming on the road on Sunday Night Football in a tough environment. They had every excuse to lose it. They were down 11 points in the fourth quarter, and they had to be absolutely perfect. And to say the least, they were. To your point, that fourth down, that was one of those throws where I almost like jumped, where I was like, what the heck? Like, that made it. I was like, ooh, like that made it through. Like I was stunned at that throw. Drake Maye, his poise, he was unbelievable, man. He really was. And this is a game where I'm like, okay, I see you. You're making me a believer. And I was really impressed. Drake Maye, dude, the guy's going to be unbelievable in the AFC for the next 15 years. I mean, he's so young. He's so good. Monday Night Football was a banger too. This was a really fun game, although two teams where it's like, Niners, Colts coming into it. You're probably not like the most excited for that game. But in the first half, I don't think there was one punt in the entire first half. I don't even know if Indianapolis punted the entire time. I know the 49ers didn't. But man, this was a really fun game. Brock Purdy was cooking up 5 touchdowns, was doing his thing. Christian McCaffrey, such a beast. Griff, I'm starting to believe more in this Niners team the more I watch them. Like Purdy can realistically do this.
Okay, and I said in a couple of videos, Kyle Shanahan's 2 wins away, in my opinion, of being coach of the year. And it's hands down coach of the year, in my opinion. He's 2 wins away. If he beats the Bears and if he beats Seattle in the last week, I say him, you know what I mean? But he's the 49ers. He would have won the division in the hardest division in the NFL, and he would be the 1 seed. With all those injuries, with your starting quarterback missing 6 or 7 games.
I think it was 8
6 or 7. Actually. Yeah, 8 games he's missed. That never happens for you to be the 1 seed in a NFC where everyone's good. You know what I mean? Or not everyone, but like the top of the top is good. Like if the 1 seed, like weirdly enough, was like a 9-win team, that wouldn't be great. But the 49ers, they're 2 wins away. Let's talk about the game. Brock Purdy, phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal. Skittles did get injured late. I don't know what the like long term, what's that's going to look like for him. But I mean, Jennings scored that touchdown and gave it to the girl and said, "Psych." That was funny. That was absolutely funny. All the memes are funny. Christian McCaffrey should win comeback player of the year. Brock Purdy, 5 touchdowns, amazing offense. The defense is what it is for the 49ers. You know what I mean? It got some turnovers late in the game, but I mean, Phillip Rivers, dude can still throw the rock. Dude can still play. And I was watching Philip Rivers last night. Don't get me wrong, he did throw the pick six and that sucked, but I mean, they were in garbage time anyways. He could have been playing these last 5 years. Like you can't sit there and say that you've watched Philip Rivers and been like, dude, he shouldn't even be in the NFL. Like, he could have been playing these last 5 years. Shout out Philip Rivers. They didn't get the job done. The Colts, they've crashed and burned. Their defense is terrible. Absolutely terrible. But the 49ers, watch out for them. If they went to the Super Bowl, I would not be shocked.
Yeah, I wouldn't either. I've been so impressed with this team. To your point, Kyle Shanahan, I think he's the coach of the year by a wide margin. And we've seen some great coaching performances this year. With everything considered, man, they're absolutely cooking. I'm wondering if like the quarterback play is like outside of like maybe like 8 guys is just questionable in the NFL. Like Philip Rivers came in there and looked really good. And I was glad that Troy Aikman kind of shirred up that pick six at the end, because I was like, oh, that sucks to see so much. And he said it was Tyler Warren's fault. And I agree. Tyler Warren turned his head like 2 yards before he even came out of his route. But Philip Rivers, man, he was balling. He was cooking. Like, he doesn't play defense. He's not giving up 40 plus points. Like Phil's got to play quarterback, and he did. And I was really impressed with him. I know the Colts probably aren't going to make the playoffs, but what a cool storyline, man. What a cool game. Like every time they're showing his family in the press box, they're showing his team at that bar in Alabama, just going absolutely hog wild. Like that was cool, man. That was really cool for me. Although they didn't get the job done, that was a really fun Monday Night Football game. And I left with a smile on my face, Griff.
It was a good one. It was definitely a good one. The right team, or not the right team won, but I mean, no comeback for Philip Rivers, but Brock Purdy. And the 49ers deserve all the credit in the world, recovering from those injuries. They're a very good team.
Yes, they are. That'll do it for week 16. 2 weeks left, Griff. 2 weeks left. A lot of teams have already clinched the playoffs. I believe we have 1 spot left in the AFC, and that's that 7 spot. And then we've got 2 spots left in the NFC if Green Bay somehow kind of collapses and Detroit figures it out. And then that 4 seed, obviously, for Tampa and for Carolina. 3 spots left, 2 weeks to go. Griff, any final words for us?
It's going to be a chaotic last 2 weeks. It's going to be a chaotic last 2 weeks, but the Guru and Kane are going to be there for you, breaking them down for you. We appreciate you. If you made it all the way through, we appreciate you. Before you leave, you know what I mean? Just give it a like, give it a comment. You know what I mean? Throw a comment in there. Even if you type the letter A, you know what I mean? Maybe ask us a question. We'll answer those questions in the comments, but we appreciate you guys.
We will. And we're going to incorporate you guys in on the live streams very, very soon. We're still figuring it out. We're getting better at this. And we just appreciate you guys being along with us for the journey. And we will see you for episode 6, breaking down week 17. See ya.